Good day, viewers. Welcome once again to your program, our program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me in the studio, Richard Adeyinka Emmanuel, the CEO of Data Ops.
Thank you. We are here again.
Yes, we are here again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming onto the program. Yes, viewers, today we are going to look at some topical issues like we always do on the conversation. And top of our bill today is an analysis of the recently concluded 2024 Edo State gubernatorial election. Baba Richie, I was in Edo State,
Yes.
and the election started early. INEC personnel came to many polling stations on time, though we later had reports of some areas where they came late.
Expected.
Yes, by and large, the violence that people had expected was totally eliminated because of the heavy deployment of security, the military and the police. And it rained also on that day. It rained for about 2 hours thereabouts. And that could have affected the turnout. And for me, because I was an observer at that election, the INEC personnel deployed for election showed very clear understanding of the workings of their tools. For example, the Beavers machine worked very well. It was excellent.
Yeah.
Where the Beavers machine could not capture people's thumb, they used the facial capture. And, within 2-3 minutes, a voter would have performed the civic responsibility. Yes, so it reduced the tension whereby if somebody was spending 7-10 minutes,
Or he wasn't able to capture.
or wasn't able to, so it reduced that. And we finished at the polling station on election day after the rains, and everybody went. We moved to the collation centers. And the results were collated at the ward level. From the ward level, we moved to the local government level, then the state. So for me, from my own observation, via our group observation of the election, as well as reports monitored via the media, you recognize that the election was peaceful, and so even everybody has attested to it. Yes. And for me, it's a plus for INEC. Even though we must not run away from the fact that logistics challenge that reared its ugly head must be addressed. We won't allow it to go like that.
It will always be there, the issue with logistics. Let me give you an example. In 2003,
Okay.
I was an INEC ad hoc staff.
Okay.
So my polling unit was in Shita.
Okay.
So Surulere. So how they arranged it, everybody, we slept at local
At the rack,
government
yes.
collation center. So
Yeah.
in the morning around 5-6, we woke up ready to be deployed. And before 7, everybody had left from Randu to
Your polling unit, yes.
Stone Throw, and
Yeah.
we drove there. They dropped me and other people. So, but when you look at places that are not like Lagos, where the local government or collation centers are inside the bush
the environment
that we can cut, so it becomes a challenge to move ad hoc staff to that place
Locations.
to go and sleep
Okay.
closer to
The
where they
polling
will carry.
stations,
So
yes.
it is difficult. You cannot move sensitive materials to the collation center
yes.
inside the bush.
Yes.
You cannot move the ad hoc staff also to that place.
Yes.
So you have to move in the morning from the state capital.
Yes.
So that alone is a challenge. And you cannot, except you are able to overcome desperation from politicians, the issue of insecurity, because you can't just take people, copper for instance, who are not the indigenes of the state,
yeah.
and then you go and throw them inside the bush where some local governments are. So it is difficult. So the fault of logistics is not particularly because INEC is inefficient. It's just because of the situations that we have. You can't deploy people until in the morning.
Until in the morning, yes.
Even the people from the university, the
the
returning
lecturers.
officers
Yes,
from
yes,
each local
the-
government,
yeah.
and then the state returning
Officer.
officers. You see that all of them have to sleep. So it's later in the morning they will now begin to go to their local government.
Yeah.
So that in itself, it's a challenge. That is why anytime I read report from the so-called observers and all that, you have to acknowledge our peculiarity, the situations that we are in. Yes, we all want INEC to do well.
Very
we
well.
want INEC to conduct elections.
A perfect election, even though we know where you
in
can
the
have
world that you can have it.
yes, it's
However, you have to also acknowledge the challenges that INEC faces in deploying manpower ahead of time. You cannot take people to the except those in the state capital. The
No,
local
even
government that you have.
even on Thursday, I remember on Thursday,
Yeah.
at the central bank headquarters in Benin,
Yeah.
all the 18 local governments materials, sensitive materials, were deployed like it's in the tradition of INEC.
Yes.
But those materials will only be deployed to the local government secretariat of that local government that they are going. So if your community from the local and you know our communities, somebody was telling me some time ago that is it in Taraba or Cross River State that there are some communities within a local government that you travel 3-4 hours.
Oh, sure.
So,
that is
like you have rightly said, I think it is important for us, as much as we want a perfect election, to understand our peculiarities
and challenges. That we want it, but what we have,
what is the reality on ground
is what we have now. We have to make do with what we have.
And unfortunately for us, is that our politicians, even when they see these truths,
they
continue to
and then
flame it up as if somebody was trying to manipulate. And I also want to quickly go to the issue of several civil society organizations, both local and international, were deployed for observing the election by INEC.
Yeah.
And I've seen some reports, particularly, let me mention him, Yaga, for example, said the collation from their own projection is as if there was manipulations in about 4 local government areas. And as an election observer who has gone through all the processes, one of the questions I've asked is that Nigerians must take the pains to understand the electoral process. That election begins at the polling station. From polling station, it goes to the ward. From the ward, it goes to the local government, then the state. So, at the ward level, what they do there, they don't vote. It is to collate results from the polling stations that make up a ward. Yeah. When that has been done, of which all the stakeholders are also present, of which they must sign and collect copies of the result sheets, like they have done at the polling station, before moving to the next. So my question is, where did Yaga suspect these manipulations? Because they said projected estimates, which means they were working on assumptions. If they had observers, because the election was conducted in 4,519 polling stations.
Yes.
If you had observers in all the polling stations, you can now say we collected all the results for Ward A, and it does not tally with our own. Yeah. And if you say it does not tally with your own, we have to ask the INEC as well as the parties and the security agents, what is the result you have? So long as those 3 participants result tallies, whatever you are saying it to the Marines.
The issue of observers, like I told you as an ad hoc staff, I don't think, apart from the agents, party agents,
yes,
I don't think the observers have rights to a copy of
No, they don't. They don't under law. No.
Only
party agents and security
agents.
And
now,
the security personnel.
On what ground that projection in itself suggests bias, suggests that they have one, they have
a conclusion they are looking for,
that they are working towards. You can't project how election will pan out. You can only project that, okay, based on the results of, for instance, Akoko Edo, since 2012, has never lost to PDP. It continued. So before that election, If you voted APC in 2012, if you voted APC in 2016, if you voted APC in 2020, chances are that it will vote APC again in 2024. So you are not really predicting that APC will get so number of votes. You can't project that APC will get so number of votes. So many things will happen that will either reduce the number of votes you get,
or
increase it.
Yeah.
So you cannot determine that.
Yes.
For instance, the issue of rain. You can have rain. The weather forecast can tell you there will be rain.
Yes.
There may not be rain.
There may not be. Yeah.
There may
There's
be rain in some parts.
and not in some parts.
Yes. And some people may just be fired up for that. We just want to exercise our vote. So many things. You cannot project the results, actual results.
When you don't have the copy.
When you have not had the copy. So it is wrong. Now, I think a day later, I listened to Liberal Sherman about the law that could have been violated with the moving of the collation center to the to INEC office. And what I heard from him was that there is no law that INEC has violated.
No, it's not even the law says collation must be done collation can be done at point A. But if there is threat to life and property, we have seen situations where INEC declared results at a collation center, only for them to get to INEC office headquarters and say that result we declared there. We declared it under duress.
So this is the
actual result because they put a gun to our. Will you now say because they put a gun to their life, that result they declared, they must stand by it?
So you see that these observers, yes, it is that is their job to look around to observe elections, but then don't make it look as if you have a dog in the fight. No, don't make it like that. Yes. Recognize the challenges. For instance, look at the professors that have left Futmina.
Yes.
To Benin.
The
local government they've never been.
Yes.
Now, ask yourself, how much are they paid? Now, there are some universities that will not likely join our election again. If you call any professor to come and organize,
because of the humiliation they are.
The humiliation, lack of planning. The logistics that we are talking about INEC for, we are talking about where professors will sleep.
Richard, let me even come in. I remember in 2016, the election that first brought in Obaseki as governor under APC.
Yeah.
I remember Professor Kayode Shoremekun, the VC of Foods, Oye Ekiti, was the chief returning officer. And when one of the local government returning officer, who was a professor also, was making his returns, one of the party agents was just interrupting, casting aspersions on him, and Professor Shoremekun had to stand up and say, "Gentlemen, you are talking to an academic don. What is your qualification? What do you know?" And again, I think we need to let our viewers know one thing. You see, at the State Collation Center, whatever observations, disagreement that a party has, he has to tender it. The role of the chief returning officer is to announce and declare results.
Whatever is not cancelled at the polling unit.
At the polling or at the ward level.
Nothing can cancel.
Yes, his own duty is to announce. His duty is not to start verifying your
claims. If you like, do an Oru baby. It won't stop him.
Yes, and again, we must also make them understand. I have been an election observer to all this level. The INEC, one of the beauty that INEC introduced to the electoral system is that for every stage of the election, there are statisticians and mathematicians
that we have
who will compute the results.
And it is easy.
You cannot announce any results.
And that is why elections are hardly upturned.
Yes.
Governorship elections.
Yes.
They are, even the presidential, hardly upturned. You see, you can get carried away with what you see on social media.
On social media.
However, will the person who is sharing it on social media tender it
in court?
Tribunal and the court?
Yes.
Would it be tenable? Now, all the party agents present will have a copy. So your own cannot be different.
Richard, again, so at times they will tell you our party agent was not there. The law does not make it mandatory for a party agent to be there.
If boss is not there, those that are there,
they'll go on with the
including
business.
Police, they will have a copy.
Yes.
Once they tender it,
that is the law.
I used to tell people, don't get carried away with what you see on social media. Leave it. Because your hope is on the fact that you saw one result on social media and all of that. Don't rely on it. When they get to the tribunal or even the court, this result is not what they will tender.
You had the Presidential Election Tribunal that accused the Labour Party of claiming to have deployed 133,000 party agents. Yes. But they didn't tender even one result to
from their agents.
From their agents, because that is what the law recognizes.
And you must have agents who will sign at the polling unit and then take a copy.
Yes, you have agents at the polling unit, you have at the ward, you have at the local government, you have at the states.
So before anybody gets carried, you know our people, we love
negative news,
sensationalism.
Sensationalism.
Before anybody shares anything, if you see it, ask the person, is this what all the agents have? So because he's just coming here to get you worked up, or to chase shadow,
dance to the gallery.
Yes, don't make it
no, the chief returning officer has only one duty according to
announce.
To announce.
And these people are not stupid, really. A professor of many years standing, you are coming, you are antagonizing, you are interrupting, you are taking him
for granted.
See, it is fight. All these professors, they usually fight their leader, the VC, who will bring them. When they get there, that this logistics is not tight. No food, no hotel, nowhere to sleep. The car. So even the man will be running up and down. How do I satisfy?
And his name is at stake.
His name is
integrity.
At stake. His mates, other professors, he's just the first among equal.
Yeah.
Not because he's
the best.
So the people that can look at him in the face and say, look at where you brought me. How did you bring me here?
Yes.
So all those challenges, we must not shy away from it. If you are an observe holistically.
Yes, and write your report, not to sensationalize
because your report will not be tendered at the tribunal or at the appeal court or Supreme Court.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for shedding light on this issue that a lot of people tend to run with the emotional stories, you know. But we all know that we run a democracy that is governed by laws.
Yes,
our election is governed by the Constitution, the Electoral Act, as well as INEC rules and regulations.
Yes.
So long as the electoral body complies with those
substantially, that's what the law
knows that they cannot comply completely. Yes,
substantial compliance. You have won, or you have lost.
Yes, so be it. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we want to call it a wrap on this first stanza of the program, The Conversation. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch The Conversation on TV 360. We'll be right back. Thank you.